I have a confession. I am definitely a gear junkie, a gearhead. I am a gram weenie. I'm always looking for different gear out there that's going to improve my overall setup, make me lighter, without sacrificing that comfortability or the safety. So what kind of things am I looking at this year? This is my 2019 gear wish list. Welcome new and returning hikers to Follow Bigfoot, where knowledge is our niche on everything outdoors. This is a special episode. I haven't done one of these before. A gear wish list. 2019, 6 items that I'm going to be talking about today. Of these 6 items, I've already purchased one of the items because I just couldn't help myself because of the price. 4 of the other 5 items on this list, I definitely have intent of purchasing sometime this year to bring on my adventures. There is one item that, well, it's hard to swallow with the price, but it is something that I am contemplating. So we'll see as we go through 2019. But we will get started with the first item. The item that I've already purchased is a new headlamp. I have tried all kinds of different headlamps on this channel in the last couple of years. What's nice about headlamps is they're relatively inexpensive. And that's always something I'm kind of looking at is what's lighter, what's better, what's practical. There are a couple elements that really for me in the last year are non-negotiables. First, it has to be something that I can charge with a micro USB. I can't stand having to put in batteries and change batteries out there. It's just not practical for me anymore. I always have a micro USB with me on the trail. I always have a backup battery brick. So that is not a big deal. The second is it's got to be something that's practical for me on the trail that I can see well when I'm out night hiking. There are many times that I'm going to hike a couple hours past dusk because I'm just trying to squeak in some extra miles. I'm not out there hiking the entire night. So I don't need something that needs to last 8, 10, 12 hours, but I'm always looking at upgrading the lumens that are on this. So if I need it, I have it. Well, I think I found something that fits all of these dynamics, the Nitecore NU25. All right, let me talk about why this made my list. First and foremost, comes in at $37. Didn't have a problem with spending $37 because of this. Weight. I'm dropping some weight off on this. 7/10 of an ounce off of what I was using before, which was the Black Diamond Ion. That came in at 1.8 ounces. This on my scale weighs 1.1 ounces. The main body itself is under an ounce. It's like 0.99 ounces. What I did do is upgrade the old headband, the headband that comes with this. It made the entire setup come in at 1.8 ounces, which is exactly identical with my Black Diamond Ion that I was using. But I went with some shock cord that dropped this down to 1.1 ounces. It's got the features that I need. So it is definitely rechargeable with the micro USB right here on the bottom. And this headlamp is bright. It can get to a max of 360 lumens if I need it. Now, of course, the battery life is going to be drained very fast if I'm using 360 lumens, but I have that ability. My former headlamp, the Ion, was only 100 lumens. So 100 lumens, 360, and I'm dropping 7/10 of an ounce. Now, as long as I'm not using the turbo setting at the 360 lumens, which I'm only gonna get 30 minutes of total battery out of, I can use this on the high setting, which is 190 lumens, almost double that the Ion got me, and I can use it for 5 hours, which that should be sufficient for what I need back there. Now, if I use a lower lumen setting, of course, I'm going to extend my battery life even more, but most of the time I'll probably be on that high setting because I don't need more than 5 hours out there if I'm hiking past dusk. This is going with me on all my adventures 2019. My second item is going to be probably no surprise to anyone. I'm upgrading my sleeping pad. Currently right now I use the Neo X-Lite pad. It's been on all of my adventures apart from maybe one, but this thing is solid and I will still continue to use this depending on the temperatures that I'm going to see when I'm out there on the trail. Ugh. That's not going to be my pack this year. I am upgrading to the Thermarest Uber Light. This thing comes in at 8.8 ounces for the regular pad. It has an R value of 2.0. If you're not familiar with what R value is, I will put a link above here. Click on it and check out. I did this video all about different R values, how that relates to temperatures, what you need to know, basically R value for dummies. I'm gonna use this pad for all of my adventures here in 2019. Overall, I am cutting 3.2 ounces of weight off my pack. I am stoked about this Uberlight pad. I'm gonna be placing my order very soon. My next item on my wish list is a piece of gear I've had with me ever since my AT thru hike. That is my Garmin InReach Explorer. I love having a GPS with me for two reasons. First reason, if there's ever an emergency, anything that happened that I need immediate response and I don't have any sort of cell phone service, I'm screwed. I'm host. It just gives me peace of mind and gives many of my loved ones peace of mind. But secondly, I love the ability for my friends, family, and patrons to be able to follow me on all my adventures. They have real-time updates of where I'm at, where I'm going, and I can communicate with them when I don't have cell phone service. A GPS for me is an essential piece of gear that I'll continue to bring on my hikes, but I am going to upgrade and get the InReach Mini. The InReach Mini cuts the weight by half. I'm going from 6.9 ounces down to 3.4. Fourth up on the list is footwear. I have wide feet, wider than most people. My options are very limited, and I've had a particular love with footwear that I've been using dating all the way back to my AT through hike, and that is the New Balance Fresh Foam Heroes. These things were great. I love them. I am excited about the newest Ultras, the Lone Peak 4.0. What I love about the 4.0 is it's taking a fresh take on the original Lone Peaks. Some key features on this that I personally am attracted to. First and foremost, the traction is incredibly better. Second is it fits true to size. The fit seems to be more comfortable from the reviews that I have heard. And they claim that the breathability on this new shoe is also the best of any of the Lone Peak models. Ultra, I'm praying that this Lone Peak is anything like my favorite personal Lone Peaks, which was the 2.5. Don't let me down. My last through hike of the Tour de Mont Blanc, I did not use a hip belt on my Z-Pax Nero, and I felt incredibly free. It was so comfortable. I fell in love with that idea of not having to have a hip belt on while I'm hiking. The downside of that is I have to have my pack light enough that I don't need to have the support of a hip belt. If I can, I would like to do as much hiking as I can without having to use a hip belt. But the problem with this is I'm missing a couple of key things that I used to have on my hikes that made it practical for me. I used to, as many of you remember, use the Z-Pax multi-pack to be able to stuff and stow everything that I needed for my hike, my day's hike, right in my front chest pack. The problem with that now, without a hip belt, it feels a little weird having this up here, but I don't feel as free. So having that multi-pack up here just doesn't really work for me. I don't want to go back to having that hip belt unless if I have to, which brings me to my fifth item. I need a fanny pack. I need something at the time that can fit my iPhone X. You know, there are lots of different options out there. You can get fanny packs really cheap. Of course, the weight doesn't match the needs that I have, but I need something that has the capacity to be able to hold whatever I'm recording my videos on, plus snacks and some other items. And that's why I am going with the Summit Bum, the UL version from ThruPack. Now, this fanny comes in at 3 ounces with the standard strap. It has a capacity of 3 liters. Dimensions, 10 by 5 by 3, which matches what my needs are. Now, ThruPack has a lighter option. It's called the Graham Cracker. I love that name, by the way. The Graham Cracker, it only weighs 1.1 ounces, and the dimensions are 5.5 inches by 7 inches by 2. The issue with this is it's not quite big enough for me to fit my iPhone X in it. So that's why I'm going with the Summit UL. So I'm going to test using a fanny out there to see if this suffices for what my needs are on the trail and be able to still feel free without having that hip belt and that weight on my hips. And the sixth and final piece of gear on my wish list, I'm still weighing out and considering purchasing, but the cost is extreme. It is the Sony RX100 Mark VI. Now, I've been eyeing up getting a trail vlogging camera. I want to be able to go away from recording everything on my iPhone. I'd like to have more functionality out there in the backcountry, get some better shots, some better stills, but I just haven't got there yet. The newest Sony RX100 Mark VI is an incredible point and shoot camera. It can shoot in 4K, and in slow motion, it can shoot 240, 40, or even 960 frames per second. Incredible. Now, the biggest upgrade in the Mark VI is the lens range. In the Mark III, 4, and 5 of the Sony RX100, you had a range of 24 to 70 millimeters, and in the newest Mark VI, you have 24 all the way to 200 millimeter zoom range. One of the downfalls on the RX100 Mark VI is the aperture does drop. and for whatever reason, you don't have an input for a mic. It is compact enough, it meets the weight requirements, and it is far superior for what I am filming out right now in the backcountry, which is my iPhone. So this is definitely something that is a true wish list item. Well, that wraps up my 2019 gear wish list. I'm really curious to hear from you guys. What makes your 2019 gear wish list? Place them below in the comments. If you have any experience with anything that I mentioned in this video, would love to hear that below, because honestly, I don't yet, and we learn from each other in the comment section. If you're new to my channel, make sure that you hit the subscribe button. We have a lot of great content getting you prepared for your upcoming hikes, whether they're section hikes or through hikes. If anything in this video was helpful, or maybe even gave you some ideas, make sure to give me a thumbs up. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.